Hi and welcome to our 6th episode of Pony Club Mum. I hope you've enjoyed the previous ones. Here we are 2 weeks later and we're heading off to Lincoln for our first ever novice. This is a huge day for us all, and as you can only expect, eventing in March, the weather was not kind. Robin was out to see us on our arrival at the stables. We superstitiously think of him, or her, as our mum and grandma, keeping an eye on proceedings. She's certainly partial to a few Bailey's number 4. No wonder she's looking so well. Our regular early start, which we do quite like, because sometimes we add on an extra 10 minutes or so onto the timetable and stop for a breakfast en route. Katie then has a snooze. How she manages to be calm enough for 40 winks en route, I don't know, but she often does, and it seems to work. I certainly had a few butterflies on the way. When we got there, we made sure that Squirt was settled and we went off to walk the course as soon as we arrived. We went with another Pony Club friend that we met who's in the same section, and we all did our best to bluff each other that it was all okay, when we all actually thought it was huge and very technical. Number 2 was huge. The combinations started at 3 and just kept coming. However, we had to keep calm. By the time we got to fence 11, it looked insignificant as you approached it until you looked over the edge. It was huge, and our smaller friend Claire could hardly see over the top of it. However, didn't seem to faze the riders, so the mums did their best to stay calm. When we'd walked the course, we then got back to the lorry and got ready for the novice dressage. That in itself a step up for us. The wind was absolutely ridiculous. This time it wasn't my shaky hand holding the camera. I really couldn't keep it still. And we were really pleased with his dressage, especially in the conditions, such dire conditions that we had to do it in. As soon as we'd finished, we popped him back in the lorry and headed off for another stomp around the cross country in the hope that it might look a little bit nicer on the second viewing, although nobody was admitting it. The show jumping appeared fairly straightforward after our recent trip to Kiso. However, today we had an incident that we may learn from, but it wasn't very helpful on the day. The wind was so bad it was blowing fences down, so the pole picker was standing in the middle of the arena. However, he was obviously asleep, or having a micro sleep as Katie came round the corner to number 3, because he was standing in the middle of the parallel she was aiming at. She'd already circled 3 times before the judge noticed and asked him to move. Unfortunately, this delay had lost their concentration a little. You can see after fence 4, Katie went to turn left instead of right. Things got a little bit unbalanced, and unfortunately we had 2 unusual poles for them, so we were rather disappointed, especially as we'd just found out from the commentator that Katie's dressage score put her in 10th place at this point. On the positive, these faults in the show jumping took the pressure off the cross country. The focus for us now was just to complete safely with hopefully no penalties. And this was the aim of the day. What a fantastic round for their first novice. A little bit quick here and there and getting a little bit close, but we were absolutely delighted. Whilst we were on cloud nine, we were assuming that everyone else had gone clear, as we didn't hear much over the tannoy due to the wind. However, it was far from the truth. In the novice sections put together, there were actually 10 eliminations or retirements on the cross country. 3 were eliminated in the last 3 fences, and 13 stopped or ran out at fence 14. So this news, which we were most surprised about, moved Katie from where she'd slipped down to 20th after the show jumping up to 12th. We were absolutely delighted. It had turned into a great day's eventing, a great first experience, and on the way home we were so excited we didn't even register that the weather had been so awful. We'd frozen to death and we'd been blown from one side of Lincoln Showground to the other. It was a great day for all. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hear our next adventures as the season progresses.